So today we want to speak about how to manage your finances. Because in our community, people have been saving mainly via stock files
Mm-hmm.
and at the work, for some savings club and so on. And I thought I'll bring in an expert today. So I brought in a financial advisor, Regan, young enough to help us and far more informed about what's happening in finance. So welcome, Regan.
Nah,
You're
thanks for
going to
having me.
our pleasure, our pleasure. So you're going to give us the lowdown of how to save.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
keep it simple.
Okay.
Finance shouldn't have to be that complicated.
That's what you say.
Yeah.
That's what he says. Our parents didn't teach us how to work with money.
But
We
nobody really did teach us.
okay.
I
So
mean, if you look at our communities,
yeah.
they don't teach you about finance.
And is that something that we should be
It's a major issue within our communities and the Boros Africa as a whole,
okay?
in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, no, you're right, you're right, you're right. Because we mainly save just for certain things that we want,
Yeah.
right? So we don't think of this long term saving, and I think
Mm.
that is what you want to talk to us about
Yeah.
managing our money properly,
Yeah.
or what?
More of like basically just managing your money and being more financially smart, and also having
Tell
that
us.
financial literacy.
Okay, financially smart. Tell us what does that mean? What does that term mean to me, the man in the street
Yeah.
who's got a regular job, and I think I'm financially smart because I'm paying all my bills.
Look, so paying your bills, living check to check isn't
Mm.
really being essentially money smart or financially smart.
Okay.
Because, I mean, if we look at an example of just the typical people in South Africa where they will live paycheck to paycheck, they would rather be like, oh, okay, I want that shoe.
Mm.
And then come end of the month, they don't have money. Or come January, then everybody goes on about this January. But that's because they're not actually financially smart. Like, if you're going to be financially smart, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in as a country, where
Okay.
96% of Africans can't afford to retire. Or there's more people with TFG accounts or Truworths accounts than with debt than there are people with active savings.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I know you very passionate about people and
Mm.
especially for like the community people.
Yeah.
Ne? So you must now just explain to us why are you so passionate about getting us to understand how to work with our money.
Yeah. So I think it's a bit of a long explanation, but I'll try and keep it short. So obviously, Shannon knows the story. Obviously, the family
Mm.
didn't come from much, essentially. Obviously, growing up, I think my parents, the aunties and uncles, tried to also shelter myself and my cousins a lot from the financial issues that certain family members were facing or how they grew up. But obviously, as you grow older, you start to realize these things. You start to piece together a lot of things, especially when you're going to visit family in retreat or needing to go and drop your uncle in Lavendale, or
Mm.
seeing those struggles, obviously, and understanding the history of where my family comes from, the struggles that they went through to get me to where I am now. I mean, it doesn't make sense for me to be in the position I am in right now and not give back to
Mm.
my communities, because it's my communities and communities in South Africa in general that need this knowledge that I have. Because yes, they always say knowledge is power, but that's probably the biggest lie. Applied knowledge is power. And the more you can educate people and show them the tricks and tools of how to better their financial situation and
Mm.
educate them, because probably also from on the Sharon side, education is the key to
Mm.
breaking all these curses.
Mm.
And that's something that I strongly believe in.
Oh wow, that's wonderful. So you are you going to talk to us now about what you think what we should start with if we really want to
Mm.
do what you explained now, that we want to change the way we see money?
Mm.
That's the way I understand it. That we must now think beyond just living from paycheck to paycheck,
Yeah.
but that we must consider perhaps looking at the savings mechanism so
Yeah.
that we can move the community forward or and move ourselves forward. Eh?
Yeah.
So maybe just take it from there again.
So I think it's not more of like what I think you should do or what I say people must do, because at the end of the day, every different individual is different.
Mm.
Not everybody's the same. Everything that you're gonna do, your needs, your wants, your goals, all different to the next person.
Mm.
So when you're looking at that financial planning or educating or putting something into place that's going to look differently to everybody.
Okay.
However, the starting point that you always want to start with, at least getting some sort of savings, and that's where what you mentioned now earlier of just having that normal savings account.
Mm.
But a lot of people tend to focus on having a savings account at the bank where you're getting that simple interest. You may be getting about what 6.78% interest, or even maybe not even that.
Mm.
And you see it on your banking app, and the minute you want a KFC or a McDonald's or whatever it is, then you just transfer money out. Like, okay, I'm hungry. And you just take out my savings. Next thing you know, you have no savings left because there's no real goal towards it. There's no real education, no real, okay, this is actually important for me to actually get into place. But people also don't know where they should be putting their money because if you look at it, the industry norm was that don't speak to a financial advisor. They just try to take your money. They just, what they call it, insurance smos. They just want to steal your money and they don't care. But I mean, there's so much options where people think it costs a lot to do these things. But I mean, if you had to ask me now, like, what's my consultation fee? I'll tell you, like, it's zero. So, I mean, these things are readily available. So, what I would recommend is obviously starting small with that savings aspect and just building those small habits.
I like it. I like the point that you made that we don't tend to, we save, but it's more an emergency fund.
Yeah.
And what you are saying is that we must also save as an investment towards whatever goal we want to achieve. And I think that that's powerful stuff.
Yeah.
So,
but I think I'll just slightly disagree with you there with regards
I thought
to
I was
it.
interpreting Regan
so
correctly.
with regards to like, okay, this is my experience with dealing with certain different type of people throughout my career. But a lot of people just treat the savings as, okay, I'm just gonna put it away, but then they don't use it as like emergency fund. They just use it. I'm just putting it there, and then I'm gonna take it out again if I need it. Where proper savings tool like your unit trust, where it's flexible, same like a savings account, but it's also out of sight, out of mind. Those are more for like your emergency savings, because in those type of funds you want to build up enough, at least about 3 to 6 months worth of expenses, because if something happens and you need money quickly to pay for something, be it an accident or needed to fix a tire or whatever it may be, you want to be able to rely on those things and not have to take out a loan for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that point. So essentially, you're saying don't leave your money in the bank. If you want a dedicated emergency fund, then rather move it into another investment platform like unit trust. Just explain that to us, Regan. What's the difference between putting money in a unit trust and leaving money in a bank, for example?
Yeah, so obviously, like, there's nothing wrong with obviously going towards your banks and putting money into the banks and all of those, because it's good for savings tools. It's good, obviously, if you don't really have much budget or you don't know what you're doing, you're just putting it into the bank and just leave it there in your savings account. But obviously, you want to be putting it into an investment type of vehicle where you're going to get real growth for your investment. Your investment's going to work for you. That's saying where people always say you must let your money work for you. So essentially, you want to get a unit trust because it gives you that flexibility. It's not like these 31-day accounts where you put your money in, but if emergency happens, you need to wait. And if you want it right now, you must pay a penalty.
Okay, let's just pause there. That I think that's quite an important point. So there is that same flexibility. In other words, you basically you have access to the money.
Yeah.
But you don't have to wait as long as you would wait.
Yeah, you don't have to wait that 31 days or pay a penalty for throwing your own money.
Oh, and there's no penalty.
No penalties
whatsoever. Is there a penalty attached to investments that you have at the bank? Say 32-day.
So if it's a 32-day account, 31-day account, or you put in like a 6 months deposit, 48 months. If you pull it out early, obviously you're paying those penalties. But when you have something like a unit trust, you're not paying those penalties because those are flexible. I mean, you get hundreds of different type of unit trusts out there. And obviously, all depending on what your risk appetite, so how much money you want to risk essentially. But I mean, unit trusts are usually more conservative, where your money is still safe but it's still growing. And I mean, if we had to look at the difference between a standard savings account which will usually grow at maybe between 3 and 6.78%, and that's a year, and that's usually simple interest. You go to your unit trust, your most conservative one is usually tracking between 9.5 to 12%. So I mean that's like 3% more than what you're getting at the bank. Plus you have that flexibility aspect to it. You can put in money whenever the exact same like a savings account. You can pull out the same way like a savings account. There's no penalties, getting better growth, and also you have that accountability person because when it's out of sight, out of mind, we tend to forget about it. Like if you put money in your jacket, you put it in the cupboard, you forget about it because now it's out of sight, out of mind. But a year later, you take out the same jacket and you put your hand in your pocket and then you say, I have money.
Same money.
Is it the same like a unit trust? Where it's other side of the mind, not going to worry about it. But if you see it right there, you're going to want it. It's like if you put a cake in the fridge now, you open that fridge every time, you're going to want that cake. So
nice.
Out of sight, out of mind is much better.
Okay. Now, look, my community is sometimes very skeptical.
Always.
They're skeptical. They want to steal our money again. They want us to put our money elsewhere. So, Regan, you're putting up a very strong case why we mustn't just leave the money in the bank. And that, of course, we need to work on our fears about financial people like you guys. Like, we're always thinking that, yes, you charging us a fee to manage our savings account or whatever. So maybe just explain that to us.
Yeah.
What kind of costs are involved?
So, I can explain that because a lot of people tend to worry about fees. I mean, I see it every single day where some people want to move their investment because they're like, the fees. But, I mean, you technically can't get away from fees anyway. However, when you're looking at those unit trust type of fees, I mean, if you have a 500 Rand investment, it's growing at 9% per annum compound. And my fees on a monthly basis may be about 1 cent. So I mean, like in a year from your investment, I maybe made like a 12 cents. So maybe in 2 years I can buy me a Chappies. Or in today's market, I can buy me a Chappies. But I mean, there's not really much fees attached to those unit trusts because that's more designed to allow you to save.
Okay.
To safeguard you.
Yeah.
But obviously, when you're talking like bigger investments and stuff, obviously there's always those management fees and stuff. But that's because it's actively managed. But I mean, when you're looking at the fee and you're looking at the rate of return, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you're far exceeding what that fee was. But I mean, the fee, the standard fee that's all on my unit trusts and my clients are usually about 0.005%,
which is a drop in the
nothing.
ocean. Yeah. Okay. And you work for a credible institution. In fact, most of the guys work for credible institutions, so you must know who you're working with. I find this very interesting, guys. And everything that Regan spoke about, we are going to try and put in screenshots of examples of how Regan explained, now you explained. If you put the money in the bank, then you get about max 6%, but you can earn up to 9%. You said 8 to 9%, if not more, per unit trust. So, Regan, I'm following exactly what you're saying. Now, let's say I work. So I earn about, what's the average kind? I don't want to get involved in what people are earning because I think, we should be earning more. But on average, let's work on somebody who's earning on average, say about 15,000 Rand, but that person has a family. So maybe husband, maybe wife, or even partners, there are kids involved. And they earning, say, 15,000 Rand, and they feel that they can only live from month to month. What kind of advice will you give, especially given that you are trying to help us, adopt this attitude of saving and investing, letting your money work for you?
So, I mean, if most people are also worried about speaking to a financial advisor about it, firstly, then what they can do to answer your question is just focus on that 50, 30, 20 rule, essentially.
50, 30, 20.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you heard of it before. So basically 50% is basically for your bare necessities.
Okay.
The things that you can't live without, that if you don't have that, you're going to die. The 30% is more of taking care of like the things you don't really need, but the things that, like you're going out,
Mm.
you're buying your toiletries and those type of things,
Luxuries.
your luxuries and all of that
Mm.
stuff, and you're like you can live without it, but also you still kind of need it.
Mm.
But then that 20% is basically like taking care of your financial situations. So getting your financial planning sorted out, those type of things,
Mm.
your investments, putting money away, looking after your future self.
Mm.
So if you can follow a rule like that,
50, 30,
in 5 to
20.
20 years time, you're going to be very happy with yourself, because if we look at it on average, people waste probably about 20 to 50% of their salary actually every month.
Mm.
I mean, that's saying when they now make a joke out of it these days, where they tell you, there's food at home,
Mm.
there's McDonald's at home. But it's true, because we would rather go out, and then while we're at work, we're like, oh, I'm hungry.
Mm.
So instead of, or I'm thirsty, instead of getting just a glass of water by the tap or anywhere, we're rather going to go to McDonald's and go get us a nuzzle meal, or go to KFC
Okay.
and get us a what's it called, statewide stew.
Mm.
So we would rather go and do that, or get us a chip roll and spend something every day. But those small little bits, buying a cool drink every day, it adds up in the month. Then you look back and you end up wasting about 500, 1,000, or 2,000 rand a month on stuff that you don't even remember having.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to get back to that 50, 30, 20, which we will throw up on the screen so people can see. So the 50 are the essentials, and does that include if you have rent and a
Yeah.
bond?
So that's like just looking at like your rent, your food, like your bare necessities, your basic needs and stuff.
Okay.
Um,
School fees?
School fees all included. So I mean, hypothetically, obviously, no judgment to anybody. You can send your kids to wherever you want.
Mm.
However, when you're earning in obviously a lower bracket, you tend to more to send your children to more of your government schools, where it's slightly more affordable.
Mm.
And by affordable, I mean it's maybe a couple hundred a year, or if not a couple, just like under 5,000 a year. And if you're sending your children to a school that you can't afford, you also need to really look at, okay, if you're going to do that, you need to sacrifice in some other regard, because you can't have everything. You need to obviously make certain sacrifices,
Okay.
especially if you have certain goals in place, because if you're going to live paycheck to paycheck, you're going to continue the cycle of poverty that we face, those generational curses.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to do that, the curse is never going to be broken, because when you retire, when you're older, you're not going to have any other money, because every month you just spent everything. And then you're going to have to get a SASSA, 350 a month, and then allow your kids to support you. I mean, nobody wants that.
Yeah.
So following that rule, I mean, it sounds simple, but it's also to build those habits. Because once you build the habit, it becomes easier, because people always tend to say, I'm only earning 5,000 rand a month, I will do it when I'm earning 15. But when they're earning 15, they have the same habits that they were when they're earning 5, because you will find the same person earned 5 maybe last year, the year before, is earning 15 now, but they spent the entire salary still.
Yeah, I like that, because you just mentioned now that we must develop better habits.
Yeah.
Financial management habits. Because it doesn't matter, like you just said now, the more we get, the more we're going to spend.
We basically, the more we earn, what we tend to do is our standard of living rises also, because now we want to make it reflect what we're earning. Instead of, we were perfectly fine with our 5,000 and we were able to live. Now we have 3 times that amount, but now we still have nothing.
Okay.
So
yeah, no, that makes sense. So I know, because I'm a nagger, you know. I'm a nagger. So I want to just underscore, just emphasize this 50, 30, 20 principle that you're talking about. Because if we can develop that habit and have that mindset, then it means, am I correct to say that when we're earning, when you get your 10 or 15,000 rand, you must know what is 20% of that money, because that money you want to ring fence and treat that as one of the necessities. And then rather than leaving it all in the pool, am I understanding you correctly, Regan? Okay.
Yeah, because you need to have a budget to work with when it comes to the month. Most people know.
Do we all work?
Most people don't. They just be like, okay, I need to pay this, I need to pay this. And if they can't pay it, then they take out a loan. I mean, I won't name any communities that I've gone to because yeah. Um, but I've gone to a few communities where I will sit at the community halls and I've spoken to people, but almost 99% of them all have a loan because they couldn't pay for something.
Mm.
Where they had enough money in the past to be saving up for these things, but they've wasted it on shoes,
Okay.
on clothes, on going out with their friends, or doing whatever just to make it look like, okay, cool, we
Nice.
live for now, but they're not worried about later on.
Yeah.
I mean, if we go into the communities now, almost every person has a pair of Nikes on or an Adidas or something. So
Are we good? Are we good?
so I mean,
Yeah.
it all comes down to your priorities and what you want to do.
Mm.
So if you can follow that rule, it's just there to build habits. Obviously, sometimes you're not always going to spend just 50% on benzene. Maybe it's going to be like what 60%. But at the end of the day, it's just there to give you a guidance. But I've never seen someone who hasn't followed that rule not be successful with their financial planning.
That's good. That's good.
So to give you an example, before you say what you want to say next.
You're the speaker, you're the expert. I am learning, guys. I hope you're learning as well.
I have a client. For poppy reasons, I'll call him Bob. So Bobby was only earning 5,000 rand when he started his financial planning with me.
Oh.
And obviously, Bob came from a background where nobody in his family has ever had anything in place. When people passed away, there was nothing in place, no retirement, no nothing. And obviously, Bob, coming from that, didn't want that to be his life and his reality. And we sat through, went through the whole budget, and I showed him the 50, 30, 20. He was like, okay, out of that 5,000, you put 500 rand away towards a unit trust, 500 rand towards his retirement, and you got a 200 rand risk policy. So this policy is like your life covers, those type of things, your income, your disability, illness cover. So he was spending 1,200 rand of his 5,000. He's essentially spending 20% of his salary towards his financial planning. And I mean, if you look at him now, he's earning about 15 a month. He's now renting his own place. He's still able to go out and spoil his partner and still live life to the fullest. He's not eating chokers every day. He's still living life. But he was able to do it without he built the habit. So now that he's earning 15, that's basically essentially like he's earning 100 because he budgeted. Now he has that habits. So if you can start when you're small, it's going to be much easier.
And I like the fact that you just every time emphasizing it is a habit that we have to develop. We have to develop a financial mindset, and then we must develop this habit when we want to invest in ourselves. And by doing that, we must take from our money. What do we call that? Liquid cash. We must take from that and ring fence it. This 50, 30, 20 principle that you talk about all the time. Okay, I find this very interesting. I wonder, so I was thinking of giving you another example, but you just explain now about your friend and that 5,000 rand a month, and within how long did it take the person to start building his wealth?
He decided to start immediately, so he's been at it now for the past 3 odd years. 3 years.
3 years.
Putting about 500 rand every month he's been putting.
Okay.
He's roughly sitting on about 24,000 odd.
Look at that.
In his investment
over 3 years.
And that's just over the past 3 years.
And that's only putting away 500 rand a month.
Yeah. And that's just roughly using about the 9%.
Yeah, the 9% interest that you can get. And what's powerful about that story that you're telling us, Regan, is it's somebody from the community, somebody who doesn't come from a background where we learned how to work with our money. In terms of helping our money to help. We must let the money help. We must grow our money, in other words. Ne? And there we have a lovely story. So, yes, I love that. I love that. So, if we must just pull out the key points of this conversation, then what would you say are the key ideas that we need to start thinking about and probably living it out, putting it into practice?
Yeah, so I would say like the major key points is obviously not just because I'm a financial advisor, but actually go and sit down with a financial advisor, because you don't pay anything to speak to a financial advisor to have a consultation because it's completely free. So firstly, speak to a financial advisor. You can create, or she or they can create a financial plan for you, a tailor-made plan for you, uniquely made for you as an individual with your goals and your needs and your income. Secondly, look at something like a unit trust. If you're unsure of who to speak to, of what place you must go to, if it's the blue, the green, the yellow, wherever you want to go, um,
Yes.
then just open your savings account,
Mm,
but then rather don't access it.
mm,
Because, I mean, if you build those habits, you're going to be successful.
mm,
It's the same thing that we do every January where we have this goals, we have this new year, new me thing. But we never stick to those goals, we never stick to the things because the habit isn't there. If you're gonna wait until you're ready, you're never going to. So my advice and my 2 cents is start now, build the habits now rather than later, because the longer you leave it, the bigger that cost of delay becomes. And if you can get yourself an accountability person, your financial advisor, whoever it is, your wealth manager, then you'll be successful because you'll have a plan.
Yeah.
But at the same time, having a plan is one thing, but the plan without implementation and guidance, it's never going to work.
Okay. So now just a disclaimer. Regan is my nephew. So there will be a little bit of bias on my side. But at the same time, Regan is a highly qualified financial advisor. And I feel comfortable telling you that if you want to speak to Regan at no cost, the way I understood what he said now, then they can set up an appointment with you.
Yeah.
And then you can actually speak to Regan and then ask him all the tricky questions, like what exactly is your 0.00005% that you're going to get from my 500 rand? But I think it's important that you actually speak to a financial advisor because Regan, our community, and I must say, guys, I was also as skeptical about financial advisors and policies and investments. I know exactly how many of us feel. Okay. And I had policies years ago, life policies. And then when things get tough, I just spun it, as we say, right?
Yeah.
So we just go and what do we call, what's the right term for that? You just you just cancel the policy. But I can say that it is very important that we actually do have investments. And we're going to speak more about that because this was just an introduction. I just wanted to let you know that we are on this financial, what are we calling the series, by the way? Financial management, or how to help you manage your money.
Financial education.
Financial education.
We will figure it out.
We will
We're
figure
open to suggestions.
Yes, we're open to suggestions. So Regan will be a regular contributor because, like, he's from the community. He has his qualifications, and you can go and do background checks on Regan Johnson if you so wish. And he does work for a reputable institution as well. So I'm just saying, if sometimes we don't have access to financial advisors, Regan, and so we're like, who must we speak to? But at least if you want to, like I said, if you're open to it, Regan is available, and you don't have to give him any money, but you can just ask him to explain everything that he explained to us now. So Regan, is that sort of a wrap just as an introduction for the guys?
I think that's just a wrap, but then obviously going forward we'll dive a bit more in depth of how financial planning as a whole looks
Exactly. Will you be comfortable for us to run your cell phone number, or must they drop it in as a comment?
Problem at all. I mean, if you go look me online, my cell phone number's everywhere.
Yeah, we have it pop here. It doesn't apply here.
It's everywhere.
Yes.
The ward counselors and facility managers share my number like this now.
Okay, yes. Now I'm
it's
just
out
checking.
there, it's public.
Yeah, it's not the secret.
Yeah, it's not a secret.
So thanks for that, Regan, because that is what I can do. I can actually you'll watch at the end of the video, I'll run Regan's name, Regan Johnson, and give his contact number as well. And you're welcome to drop in the comment section any questions you have, because then I can refer those questions to Regan, or any comment or any suggestion that you have. Right? So we're looking forward to having you again, Regan, because this was not nice. This was just a like introduction. And by the way, we were struggling with getting the camera sorted.
But
We're
the
doing
episode now.
the episode. So we just wanted, we wanted to have the interview style, not like a talk, as a lecture, but actually getting an expert to come into the room to come and explain to you. So Regan, on that note, for the first session, I found the information valuable. Like I said, it was just a teaser, just to let people know that we need to start thinking about how do we manage our money so that we can begin to grow wealth. And
Yeah.
the idea is to start small.
Yeah.
And so you gave us examples, but Regan will bring in lots of other examples and, of course, talk more in detail about different investment opportunities. So on that note, thank you, brother, for taking out your time, bro. That was good. Yeah. And so until next time, if you like this video, then let us know. And then, of course, we want to see some comments there. And if you like what's happening on School Corridor, even subscribe so that you can always get a notification to know when the next video is dropping. Today's was about financial management. And of course, we look at other areas as well, like school education and so forth. So until next time, from me and Regan, you can do your thing, Regan, because I just say, see you next time.
See you next time.
There you go.